Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, a brotherhood where men rise above weakness, master themselves, and live with honor. Today we uncover the Golden Code, discipline, manhood, and the truth about love. Every man who has ever walked the earth faced three battles: the battle with his desires, the battle with his emotions, and the battle with the world. The men who win these battles are remembered as leaders, warriors, and legends. Those who lose become forgotten shadows. If you're a man who seeks strength in love, discipline in life, and clarity in manhood, then you're in the right place. This message is for you. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe and join our tribe of men who refuse to settle for mediocrity. And as you watch, share your thoughts in the comments below, because your voice can inspire another man on his journey. Now let's unlock the Golden Code. Chapter 1. The Foundation of the Golden Code. Every great civilization, Rome, Sparta, Egypt, Greece, rose on the backs of men who understood one eternal truth. Without discipline, power collapses, love decays, and manhood becomes fragile. Discipline is the silent architect of greatness. It builds legacies, stone by stone, day by day, action by action. Discipline is not about living a life of denial. It is about choosing mastery over slavery. Mastery over your impulses, your desires, your anger, your fears. Because make no mistake, a man who cannot control himself will eventually be controlled by something or someone else. Think of it this way: when a man is led by his urges, he becomes predictable, easily manipulated, and weak. But when he is disciplined, his energy becomes focused, his words carry weight, and his presence commands respect. This is why the ancients placed discipline above comfort. Because comfort breeds complacency, while discipline breeds kings. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private meditations, words he never meant for anyone else to read, that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What he meant is simple. What you allow yourself to think, what you allow yourself to do repeatedly, becomes who you are. Discipline, then, is painting your soul with strength, endurance, and resilience. Now imagine this in love. Without discipline, a man clings, begs, and loses himself in the pursuit of affection. He sacrifices his dignity for attention. But with discipline, love becomes stronger because it is rooted in self-respect. A disciplined man can give love freely without fear, because he knows who he is, even if love is taken away. Discipline is the first law of the Golden Code because it is the root of all masculine virtues. Courage requires discipline. Loyalty requires discipline. Even love requires discipline, and the discipline to stay true, to control jealousy, to lead with strength instead of fear. Without discipline, you are a man in name, but not in reality. With discipline, you become more than just a man, you become a force. Drop a comment below. Brothers, what is the hardest area of life for you to stay disciplined in? Love, emotions, or daily habits? Share your answer below. You might discover that other men in this tribe are fighting the very same battle. Chapter 2. Manhood in Relationships. A man's character is truly tested in relationships. Not in the battlefield, not in the marketplace, but in how he handles the intimacy of love. Because love has the power to either strengthen a man's spirit or expose his weakness. Too many men lose themselves when love enters their lives. They confuse affection with dependency. They think love means giving up their strength in order to keep the woman they desire. But history teaches us the opposite, that love respects strength, not surrender. In ancient Sparta, men were trained to endure pain, hardship, and silence. Their discipline wasn't just for war, it was for life itself. When a Spartan married, his wife expected him to return from battle either with his shield or on it. Why? Because true manhood meant carrying responsibility, courage, and honor even in the face of death. Love, for them, was not weakness. It was a bond strengthened by the strength of both man and woman. A man who enters a relationship without self-mastery becomes a servant of his emotions. He grows jealous at every small detail, insecure at every delay in reply, restless at every test of patience. But a man who has built himself first, who carries discipline, confidence, and purpose, becomes a source of stability. His presence calms storms, his silence commands respect, and his strength inspires loyalty. Manhood in relationships is not about control. It is about leadership. And leadership is never forced. It is earned. A true man does not demand respect. He lives in such a way that respect flows to him naturally. A woman feels secure in his presence not because he dominates her, but because he dominates himself. When a man lacks discipline, he becomes desperate for validation. He gives too much too quickly, thinking it will buy him love. But what happens? His efforts are rarely respected because desperation is the opposite of strength. Love cannot breathe in the presence of fear and insecurity. But when a man is rooted in his manhood, he gives love with clarity. He is generous without being weak, patient without being passive, and affectionate without losing his edge. This balance is what makes love thrive. A disciplined man understands that love is not chains, it is wings. And wings can only carry two people upward when both are strong enough to fly. Manhood in relationships means knowing when to stand firm and when to be gentle. It means protecting without suffocating, guiding without controlling, and loving without losing yourself. The greatest men in history, philosophers, leaders, warriors, all understood this balance. They loved deeply, but never at the cost of their own essence. Remember this: if you lose yourself in love, you will lose both yourself and the love. But if you remain true to yourself, you will either keep love or gain something greater: self-respect. Drop your thoughts below. Do you believe a man should build himself fully before entering love, or do you think love itself is what teaches him how to grow? Chapter 3. The truth about love. Love has always been a mystery. Poets try to capture it in words, warriors fight for it in battle. Kings have built and destroyed empires because of it. Yet despite its beauty, love is also one of the most misunderstood forces in a man's life. The truth about love is this: love is not enough. Love alone cannot sustain a relationship. It cannot hold together what discipline, respect, and character are too weak to maintain. A man who believes love will solve everything is setting himself up for heartbreak, because love without strength is fragile, and fragile things break easily. The ancient Greeks saw love as more than just emotion. They had different words for it: eros for passion, philia for friendship, storge for family, and agape for selfless devotion. Why so many forms? Because they understood that love is layered. To reduce it to just passion or romance is to misunderstand its true nature. For men, the greatest mistake is thinking that love is simply about how much you feel. Feelings rise and fall like the tides, but truth and commitment stand firm. A man who builds his love on feelings alone is like a builder constructing a house on sand. The first storm will sweep it away. But a man who builds love on discipline, respect, and purpose builds it on rock. That love can withstand betrayal, disappointment, and time itself. Here is the harsh reality: love will test you. It will test your patience, your pride, your endurance, and your discipline. Love will demand sacrifice, but it will also demand wisdom, to know when to hold on and when to let go. Many men fail in love not because they don't give enough, but because they give blindly, without balance, without strength. The truth about love is that it is not meant to complete you. It is meant to complement you. No woman, no relationship, no affection can fill the void of an undisciplined life. If you are broken inside, love will not heal you, and it will only expose the cracks. But if you are whole, if you have built yourself with discipline, love will not weaken you. It will sharpen you. Look at history. Great men like Marcus Aurelius, who ruled with wisdom, or Alexander the Great, who conquered the world, understood that love is a gift, not a prison. They loved, but they did not allow love to strip them of their mission. They carried their responsibilities first, and love aligned itself with their strength. A man must realize that true love respects boundaries. A woman may test you, but deep within her heart, she longs for a man she cannot easily bend, not because she wants a tyrant, but because strength brings security. A disciplined man, a man who knows his worth, becomes the anchor of love. Without an anchor, the ship drifts. Without strength, love loses direction. Love is not blind despite the poetry that claims it is. Love sees very clearly. It sees weakness, it sees fear, it sees insecurity, and it slowly loses respect when those things dominate. But when love sees discipline, courage, and vision, it blossoms. It respects what it cannot break, and it deepens in the presence of strength. Understand this truth: love is not the goal of life, but a part of it. Your mission, your growth, your discipline, your manhood, these are the foundations. Love should walk beside you, not lead you. When you put love above your mission, you lose both. But when you put your mission above everything else, you gain both love and respect. The truth about love is not sweet poetry. It is a battle, a refining fire, a teacher. If you are strong, it will strengthen you. If you are weak, it will expose you. And in this truth lies the wisdom of the Golden Code. Never let love make you less of a man. Let it make you more. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe love tests a man more than life itself? Or is it life that shapes love? Chapter 4. The Golden Code in Action. It is one thing to know discipline. It is another to understand manhood. And it is yet another to learn the truth about love. But wisdom without action is wasted breath. A code means nothing if it is not lived. The Golden Code is not just philosophy, but is a way of life. Every man must rise each day with the awareness that he is walking a battlefield, not always with swords or armies, but with distractions, temptations, and trials that seek to weaken him. Modern life does not ask for warriors with shields. It asks for warriors with vision, self-control, and relentless determination. So how does a man live the Golden Code in action? 1. Master yourself. First, you cannot lead a woman, a family, or even a business if you cannot lead yourself. Wake with discipline. Train your body, train your mind, guard what you consume, not just food, but information, entertainment, and the voices you allow into your life. For what enters the mind becomes the seed of your future. A man who wastes his mornings scrolling, chasing pleasure, or running from responsibility is already defeated before the day begins. The Golden Code demands that you win the morning, and the day will follow. 2. Build a mission beyond love. The greatest mistake men make is making a woman their entire purpose. Yes, love is powerful. Yes, relationships matter, but no woman truly respects a man who has no mission outside of her. A mission gives your life direction. It is the mountain you climb, the empire you build, the fire that keeps you moving when comfort whispers in your ear. When you live with mission, love becomes a companion on the journey and not the destination itself. 3. Lead with strength, not fear. True manhood is not domination. It is leadership rooted in vision and discipline. A man living by the Golden Code does not force respect. He earns it by how he carries himself. He does not beg for loyalty. His strength inspires it. He does not react to every emotion. He chooses his battles wisely. This is how a man becomes a pillar in relationships, in society, and in life. 4. Protect your dignity in love. Never trade your self-respect for affection. The Golden Code demands that you love boldly but never desperately. Too many men weaken themselves in love, chasing, begging, compromising their very essence for temporary comfort. But a disciplined man, a man who knows his worth, will never kneel before desire. He gives love freely, but if it is not returned with respect, he walks away with his dignity intact. For he knows love that requires him to lose himself is not love, it is bondage. 5. Embrace struggle as training. Life will not spare you. You will face betrayal, heartbreak, failure, and loss. But the Golden Code teaches that pain is not your enemy. Pain is your instructor. Every setback is a lesson, every heartbreak a sharpening stone, every failure a test of endurance. Weak men curse, struggle. Strong men use it to refine their character. Discipline turns pain into progress. 6. Live with legacy in mind. The ancients built monuments not only in stone, but in the memory of their deeds. They understood that a man dies twice, once when his heart stops, and once when his name is spoken for the last time. Living the Golden Code means living with legacy. Ask yourself daily, if today were my last day, would my actions honor my name? Would my life inspire my children? Would my love leave behind dignity or shame? When you live this way, you no longer chase validation. You no longer beg for love. You no longer fear loss. You stand as a man whose value is undeniable, whose presence is respected, and whose love is chosen freely. Not demanded, not begged for, but naturally earned. The Golden Code is discipline in action. It is manhood lived with strength and grace. It is love embraced with dignity and clarity. A man who carries this code is not shaken by rejection, not destroyed by betrayal, not blinded by passion. He stands firm because his foundation is unshakable. Remember, it is better to walk alone with discipline than to walk with many in weakness, because in time the world always bows to strength, and love always respects a man who refuses to lose himself. Drop your thoughts below. What principle of the Golden Code do you feel men today are forgetting the most? Discipline, manhood, or dignity in love? Brother, we have walked a long path together in this message. We began with the foundation of discipline, the backbone of manhood. We journeyed through relationships where a man's strength is tested. We uncovered the raw truth about love, stripping away illusions and exposing its trials, and we brought it all together in the Golden Code in action, where philosophy meets real life. But listen carefully. This journey cannot end with words, because words alone will not change your life. Words must become flesh in action. Knowledge without practice is nothing more than a shadow. A man who listens but does not act is no better than the one who never heard at all. The Golden Code demands more of you. It demands that you stop living as a half version of yourself. It demands that you refuse the life of compromise, excuses, and weakness. It demands that you build discipline as your armor, mission as your compass, and dignity as your crown. This is not optional if you truly desire to live as a man of worth. Look at history. Do you know why men like Marcus Aurelius, Leonidas of Sparta, or Alexander the Great are remembered centuries after their deaths? It was not only because they fought wars or ruled empires, it was because they lived with codes greater than themselves. They endured pain without complaint. They sacrificed comfort for honor. They chose purpose over pleasure. They became symbols of manhood, not just men of their time. And here is the truth. You may never rule a nation. You may never conquer lands, but you can conquer yourself. And that conquest is the greatest empire any man can build. The world around you is collapsing into distraction and weakness. Men are being tamed by their own desires, enslaved by their screens, and emptied by meaningless pleasures. Love is becoming shallow, relationships are losing depth, and discipline is mocked in favor of comfort. But you, brother, must stand apart. You must rise as one of the few who lives by a higher law, the Golden Code. This code is not gentle. It will test you. It will ask you to rise early when your body craves sleep. It will demand silence when your anger screams. It will call for patience when your pride is wounded. It will ask you to give love without becoming a slave to it. But if you accept this challenge, the reward is beyond measure: freedom, respect, power, legacy. The Golden Code transforms ordinary men into timeless men, men who do not bow to failure, men who are not destroyed by heartbreak, men who can walk alone and yet still walk tall, men who lead families, inspire others, and build lives that cannot be erased by time. Brother, let this truth burn into your soul. Women may admire your charm, friends may praise your talents, but the world only bows to discipline, strength, and purpose. And love, true love, only thrives when rooted in these. Without them, love withers. With them, love grows into something eternal. So, what will your life say about you? Will it say that you lived chasing affection and losing yourself in the process? Or will it say that you stood as a man of discipline who carried his mission forward no matter the cost, who loved with dignity and who walked in the footsteps of greatness? Every man faces two deaths. The first is when his body returns to dust. The second is when his name is spoken for the last time. But men who live by the Golden Code do not die twice. Their names become immortal, etched in the memories of those they inspired. Their legacies ripple through generations. Their lives stand as proof that greatness is not reserved for emperors, but for any man who dares to live with honor. Do not let your life be forgotten. Do not let your story be one of wasted time and broken promises. Write your story in the language of discipline, manhood, and love. Let your life itself be your monument, greater than stone, greater than wealth, greater than fame. From this moment on, every decision you make either strengthens the code within you or weakens it. Every sunrise is a test, every choice is a battlefield, and every day is an opportunity to live as more than just a man, but as a warrior of the Golden Code. The Stoic Golden Tribe is more than a channel. It is a call to all men who refuse to accept weakness as their destiny. If you are listening now, you are part of this brotherhood. Stand with us, grow with us, share your wisdom, your battles, your victories in the comments below, because your words might be the sword that strengthens another man who is on the edge of giving up. If this message has spoken to your heart, do not let it remain just inspiration. Turn it into transformation. Subscribe and walk this path with us. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Remember this, and never forget, without discipline, manhood crumbles. Without manhood, love loses its power. Without love, life loses its meaning. But the man who lives the Golden Code unites them all. He becomes untouchable. He becomes unforgettable. He becomes eternal. And brother, that man can be you.